have an amazing white label mobile app that you can utilize for your communities, your courses, your entire portal. If you haven't set up your portal yet, you're definitely going to want to do that so you can play with your portal before you grab the branded app. The best way to get to this is to go to memberships on the left side. And when you select memberships, you're going to go over here to communities and you're looking for the branded mobile app. When you click on that, this is where you're going to come to get started setting up the mobile app. Now, it doesn't just set up the mobile app. There's some things that we need to do to make sure that you submit your mobile app as a company to Apple and Google. So we're going to be talking about that here in just a second. You also want to make sure that you have the images and the branding of the way that you want your mobile app to look. We're going to go through a small process. You're going to sign up and pay. You're going to fill out a form. Then it will be submitted for approval. So we have to wait for Apple and Google to approve it. And then once it's approved, you will go live. I'm going to share with you a couple of tips so that way you can get your app up and loaded. Once you select Get Started, this is where you're going to make your payment. You're going to see right here it says, please allow 2 to 3 weeks for processing after all data is submitted. So before you make your payment, there's a few things that we need to do. It says right here, ensure your Apple, Google developer accounts are ready. Before making your payment and getting signed up, I recommend going through the process and making sure that you get your Apple approved and your Google approved. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second. Once you get in and you make your payment and then you submit your application, you're going to see that you will be in a wait step where your app will be live within 2 to 3 weeks based on the time taken for Apple and Google to review. Once you fill out the form and you've submitted the form, you're going to be on the wait step that says your mobile app will be live within 2 to 3 weeks. This is based on the time taken by Apple or Google to review the mobile app. So let's get started with all of the things that you want to do to make sure that you get to this point as soon as possible before you jump in and make your purchase. You're going to want to fill out this entire form. And what it's going to ask you for is your name, your email. You're going to see a DUNS number, the website that you're going to need, the developer login and passwords, all these images that you're going to need. It's all going to be right here. So when you click on the form, you want to make sure that you have all of this. We're going to be sending a form once we have our DUNS number and once we have our access to our Google developer and our Apple developer. The first thing they're going to ask you for is your DUNS number. That's a Dun & Bradstreet number. The best way to do this is follow these instructions step by step. If you're an Apple developer, Google developer, you'll go to step 2, step 3, step 4, and set up your business. Now, what it's going to ask you to do is it's going to ask you to first find your business because somebody else could have submitted your business, maybe through a credit. So you want to put in your zip code and your business name. The Dun & Bradstreet will do a search at first to ask you about your business to see if it finds you. If it does, go ahead, find yourself and claim that business to get yourself set up. If it does not, then you will add your business. You'll just put in your business zip code, name, and then you'll follow all the steps to get you signed in and get your number. They'll send you an email that shows that your number's set up. Another thing about this is if you sign up with Apple, Apple will ask you if you have a Dun & Bradstreet number. If you don't, it will enroll you when you set up organization. It's really neat how it works. So if you don't have a Dun & Bradstreet number and you want to do it through Apple, they'll get you a number, they'll send your information, and it's done. Just click on the A DUNS number where it says Learn More, and you'll be able to set that up right there. What you're looking for in the Apple Developer Program is that you want to enroll as an organization. The app will not work if you enroll as an individual because what we're doing on the back end is updating this app for you as an organization. So we want you to sign up using your organization and your business name. So what you're going to do is select the enroll as an organization. If you do not have an Apple ID, you're going to want to set that up. A lot of you guys do for Apple TV and your Apple computer. You can utilize that same ID as well when logging in, but you may want to set up an Apple ID for your business. If you set up an Apple ID for your business, it's going to make things a lot easier. I had a personal app ID, which I use for Apple TV. And when I did, I had to submit it to support to ask them to put my information in as an organization. So it's very important how you enroll. And when you enroll, you will follow the process. It's a step-by-step process asking you about your business, your information, whatever information that you give them. You want to make sure that your website is live and active because they're going to look at your business name and your website. And then, like I said, it'll ask you if you have a DUNS number, in which case, if you did that in the previous step, you can put that in. Otherwise, it'll give you a step to say, go ahead and create one. That's amazing. And when they create it, they send you an email, which brings me to the Google enrollment. Again, before we leave this, make sure that you enroll as an organization. And again, it's very easy, step by step, follow the instructions. Once you get that DNS number and you've set up your Apple, now it's time to set up for Google Developer. It's going to be very important that you set this up as well as an organization and not as an individual. I'm going to use a demo free Gmail account here. When you set up your Google Play console, you want to make sure that you set it up as an organizational account, not a personal account. I'll have this document below. That way you can follow it step by step. You'll want to sign in. It's going to ask you for your information, your DUNS number that we just talked about, and it's going to want to charge a $25 registration fee. Once you get into the Google, you just follow these instructions. DNS number, it's going to ask you to verify, give us your developer name, the account name. We want to put in your business, link payments, and verify your identity. It's probably going to ask you for like a business license or something like that. This is really important. When you get to the select a payments profile, you are going to want to create a new payment profile. If you have a personal Google account and you select this one, it's going to come in as a individual registration, not a organization registration. So you want to set up a new payments profile for your business. It's going to be very important that you do this because what happens is if you pay on an individual, Google will not move you to a professional. Google will not credit you and refund you when you try to move to a professional. You have to sign up with a professional and it'll charge you. There's no refund. If you sign up with a personal, it'll charge you. So it could cost you $50 in the long run. Trust me, we've learned the hard way. So I want to make sure that you don't do that you do create a payments profile that is a business payments profile. Then you'll add your DNS number. It'll verify all this fun stuff. It'll link to your payments to verify your identity. The public profile, it'll ask you some questions. Make sure you have the email address in there. A lot of these things will be filled out once the mobile app is in, but you want to answer as many questions as you can. So you'll want to make sure that you verify everything, accept all the terms, and then you'll be good to go. The Apple developer account is going to be the same thing. You'll want to create an Apple ID for your business or organization. It's going to be very important. You'll start the enrollment process. I like the Apple enrollment. It was so much easier and very quick. So I recommend doing the Apple one first and then doing the Google registration next. And if you have any questions, you can always go inside of either your Google or Apple and get any questions answered right from their support or by searching. This should get you going and get you set up. The key thing to remember is setting up everything as an organization and getting that DUNS number for your business and making sure that you have the correct DUNS number. It matches your business name and all the information matches to be able to get approved faster and be all set and ready to go with your Google developer approval and your Apple developer approval. Once you get that email that says you're approved and you can jump in and start adding apps, now it's time to go back into our software and get started by purchasing the app and filling out the form. I'm going to show you the form next. Now that you have set up your Google developer app and gotten approved, and your Apple developer app and gotten approved, both on organizations, now it's time to go into your branded app and get started. Remember, you'll click the Get Started and make your payment, and then right after you make a payment, it's going to take you to the first step, and that is filling out your online form. You're going to fill out the basics: first name, last name, phone number, email, the sub-account name, which is your account name, business full address, your DUNS DNS number that we talked about earlier. And then you're going to want to put a support URL. Maybe you have a specific place that everybody goes for support. And then we start putting in your Apple developer email and your password. After you do the Apple developer email and password, you will also want to put in your developer email for Google and your developer password for Google. You're also going to want to add a support email, support@yourbusiness.com, somewhere they can email you. Then you're going to put the distribution countries. Where would you like your app to be found? You'll give your app a name and a description. And then you want to do a short description. So a longer description for about 150 words and a shorter description for about 80 characters. And then your terms and conditions URL. That would be your website.com/terms and conditions. And then you're going to want to add your privacy policy, yourwebsite.com privacy policy. These are very important for things like intellectual property and whatever you have in your terms and conditions and how you utilize data in your privacy policy. Now we get to the fun stuff, and this is where you're going to want to use something like Canva or any graphics work to be able to create your graphics. The first design that we're going to do is add a primary color, a hex color. In this particular case, if I picked black, that would be what the primary hex color would look like. So you want to make sure that you have your primary color set up. The first two things are what's called an app icon and a splash screen. And the app icon looks like this. When you look at your mobile phone and you see the app icons, that's what your app icon is going to look like when downloaded to a mobile phone, when they install your app into their apps. So you want to have a fun icon. I recommend putting something in the background if you have different colors. And then your splash page is what shows up. They call it a splash screen when people are clicking on your app. This is kind of like that screen saving type screen that you have. You can put text if you'd like, or just use an image. The App Store keywords, this is going to be important. You're going to want to add the keywords related to your app. Is it coaching? Is it consulting? Is it food, fashion, fitness, home improvement? So select your app keywords wisely. And then you'll see a Play Store graphic. These graphics are important because this is what it's going to look like when they land on a page, whether it's mobile or desktop. So you want to have maybe some image, a text, or something fun. After you add your graphic, what your app is about, and some fun things, it's important to remember not to add any keywords like free or paid or anything in your descriptions that says free or paid, because your mobile app is considered a free download. If you say paid somewhere, they're going to think they're paying for the mobile app. So you want to watch your wording very carefully. We know that inside your course and community, you may have a paid course or a paid community, but you don't want to put that here on the free downloadable page. You also want to make sure inside your community or course that you do have something free and inviting for people downloading your mobile app. The next graphic is going to be what's called an app carousel, and this needs to be in a SVG file. So you want to make sure that you look, most images are PNG, but your carousels are SVG, and you can easily select download as an SVG in Canva and download as an SVG inside of your Photoshop or other applications that have SVG files. So we're going to have 4 carousel images, and they're all going to be the same size. So you're going to have an image and then a little description, an image 2 and a description, image 3 and a description, image 4 and a description. When you get to that, this is what it's going to look like. 392 by 440 is the SVG file, and it looks something like this. You can do mock-ups in Canva if you want to use the mobile app, or you can just put pictures of the mobile app or what you plan on having in the mobile app. Again, just make sure that there are no words in the images or the text content that says anything about paid or free or anything that would make it questionable to wonder if your app is really free. After you upload all of your image, you're going to want to look at this disclaimer very closely. If not paid and verified in Apple and Google developer accounts, this will delay the production of the app for up to 60 days. Remember earlier I said make sure you have everything ready for the form. So you want to make sure that you have been approved in Apple and you have been approved in Google. Once you have confirmed that, this is where you will check that you confirm that both are verified. Your Apple developer and your Google developer have been verified. That's where you uploaded your content and they said you're approved. It's been verified. Now it's time to load up your app. The last thing that happens after you submit your form is this message right here that comes up kind of quick. And it says, thank you for taking the time. We'll review your information. Meanwhile, please check app status under the client portal and branding settings. And that is where it will bring you back to your branded app. Now, this may be grayed out because they are still going through your form. It's on a wait list. You got to give them time. Once this turns blue, you have 2 to 3 weeks based on the time taken by Apple or Google to review. Then they will go live. On the back end, we're submitting the branded app to Apple and Google. So you've got to give us time to submit all of the information on your behalf. You want to make sure that we get that all set up on the back end. After you've submitted this, once your app is live, you should just be able to tell people it's time to load up my app. So the step 3 is once live, you can come and check back here and download your links. So you can share those links in emails, anywhere you'd like. It's going to show up here. We're always excited to see you add another piece of branding out into the internet world. In Google Play, in Apple apps. It's going to be great for branding your portal, your communities, your courses, and so much more. And that is how you set up your branded app inside of your software. This is where you should be getting really excited. Just be very patient with us as we add your app to the Apple and Google stores, and we await their approval. Be sure to check back here to grab those links and start sharing it with your customers.